Hey guys, welcome back to She's At It Again. This is Tanya. This is not a cooking video. There's no recipe included in this. This is just a short tutorial. I vowed when I started this channel to not just be a cooking channel, but be basically a channel where you can just come to and find basic things that will help people along. Anything from sewing a button on a shirt to getting a stain out of something to, of course, recipes. But I want to just give a brief tutorial on how to iron a shirt. Some of you have unsubscribed already. No, just kidding. Somebody probably has gone, I know how to iron, I don't need this. And that's okay. But there are people out there who aren't really comfortable asking someone, how do you iron a shirt? But they secretly want to know how to iron a shirt. And I don't necessarily know that there's anything on YouTube that shows how to iron a shirt. I haven't looked. But because I needed to iron today, and I thought, you know what? I have said all along, no matter how basic it is to me, it may not be basic to somebody else. It may be something that they just don't know because nobody ever showed them. So I want to just quickly show you how to iron a shirt. So let's get started. One of the first things you'll notice is that my ironing board is probably backward from the way that you've seen most people iron. I have my flat end of the ironing board over here. The pointed end is at that end over there. Now I have my iron plugged in down here on this side. I have plug mold on the side of my island so I could iron anywhere around this I needed to. But I only have one other friend that says we must be bosom buddies because she has her ironing board is what's considered backwards as well. I've done this for years and it just works better for me. So turn the ironing board however you want. There's no rule to it. This has an ironing board cover on it. This is a bit padded. I probably have maybe 4 layers of ironing board covers on this. I don't throw mine away when I need a new one. I just cover that back up. It makes it more padded, and that way you don't get an imprint on your shirt of perhaps the metal work underneath this, the little plate that's underneath this. So I have my iron heated up. On your iron, there are, of course, different temperature settings. On this dial right here, I have mine set to cotton. I don't know if you can see this because I don't film in selfie mode. I'm assuming you can see on this where it says nylon, silk, wool, cotton, and linen. It just depends on your fiber content. Look on the tag of your clothing article and see what the fiber content is. If it's a combination, then go with whichever one has the most percentage of that fiber content. So I'm setting mine to cotton. This is, I think, 100% cotton shirt. So I'm gonna let that get heated up. I don't put water in the iron for steam, but if you prefer to use steam in your ironing, always use distilled water. Never use tap water because it'll build up minerals in there. It'll clog these holes and you'll ruin your iron. So to get started, I have the shirt like this, the tag on this side of it, and I'm going to lay it with the tag side down so the inside of the shirt is laying on my ironing board. All right, so make sure my iron's heated up. If I can spray water on it and it sizzles, then it's ready. This is just a spray bottle of tap water. I'm not putting it in the iron, I'm just spraying it on the clothes. So what we want to do is spray the tag side. So this is the side that'll be outside when we're wearing the shirt. Put this down on the ironing board. Make sure there are no big wrinkles in it, and you're just going to gently iron over that, and the steam will from the underside will come up through the shirt. Now you can iron down on this part as well, the yoke of the collar, kind of pulling it with one hand and ironing with the other just to make sure you don't iron a wrinkle into it. When you back up the iron, be careful you don't drag it and put a wrinkle into it accidentally. That's easier to do than what you might imagine. Next thing we're going to do is one of the sleeves. This is the right sleeve of the shirt. Bring it almost all the way down to the end of the ironing board, and you're going to line it up by finding the seam on the underside of your arm. Make sure that seam is at the very bottom. And we're just basically working the wrinkles out with our hand as much as we can before we get started with the iron. Spray lightly over it. You don't want to just drench the fabric by any means. You're just lightly misting it to form steam. Now if you're using steam in your iron, you can skip that part right there if you want to. Again, pulling the fabric tight. Just gently pulling it. Pulling any wrinkles out so you don't iron them into the shirt. That would kind of defeat the whole purpose, wouldn't it? And my phone gets texts as soon as I start doing this. But luckily it's not the one I'm videoing with, so that's okay. Now you can open up this cuff and iron it in a single layer. You don't want to iron it flat like that because then you'll have that crease right there on the edge of the cuff. Will, however, iron, just touch up that right there, but notice I'm not touching the edge of it with the iron to make a crease. Okay. Turn the shirt around. We're going to iron the left sleeve. Again, lightly spraying it with the water and tugging on it just a bit to get the wrinkles out. You don't want to let the iron sit too long on one spot because it would have a tendency to singe if your iron happens to be too warm. And you want to make sure the bottom of your iron is super clean before you get started, because if it has any stains on there from where maybe you've singed another piece of fabric and it stuck to it or something, and or like there's a scorch mark on the plate of it and you're ironing a white shirt, it will get that scorch mark on your white shirt sometimes. Okay, again, open up that cuff and iron it flat. Now, we want to do the front of the shirt. So open it up like this, the inside on the ironing board itself. The biggest thing we're going to pay attention to is this little placket right here where the buttons are. Grasping it firmly, making sure all the wrinkles are out, and just iron over it. So basically you're replicating permanently with the iron what you're doing with your hand. So you're smoothing it out. Ironing is kind of a lost art, but I have a family of ironers. When I say I have a family of ironers, my mother loved to iron. Oh my goodness, she loved to iron. She loved everything to be crisp and have creases in it. She had beautiful laundry. My grandmother was the same way, and my grandmother, when she would iron, she would let me iron my granddad's handkerchiefs that were 100% cotton, and I thought I was big stuff ironing those little squares of white fabric about that big, and some of them were colored, and my sister and I would sometimes argue over who got to iron what, and when Granddad used that handkerchief, we just thought he knew who ironed it because it looked so crisp and nicely folded. We just knew he was so proud of us. So that's how we learned to iron. So if you have young kids that around that you would like to teach to iron also, that's a good thing to let them iron, is cotton handkerchiefs. It worked for us anyway. I don't mind ironing, but when I have a big stack of ironing, I try to iron usually one day a week. That morning I will get all my ironing done. And if I'm especially tired, just standing in one spot is not my favorite thing to do because it makes my back and my legs hurt. So, but I like the ironing process itself because I like nice, crisp, freshly ironed clothes too. All right, we're back at the front side again now. We've done the back. If there is a crease in the back of the shirt, which are in most men's shirts, I will get another shirt in just a minute and I'll show you how to do this once I finish this one. There's kind of a little bit of a trick or a hack to it, getting that line straight down the back of it. This shirt happens to not have one of those. This is my shirt, but my husband's shirts mostly have those on there. Some people wear wrinkly clothes and just don't think anything about it, and that's fine if that's what they want to wear, but once you have ironed clothes, you just see a world of difference. It just makes your clothes look so much, I don't know, fresher or something. I don't really know what word I'm trying to think of, but it doesn't look like you just climbed out of bed wearing those clothes. All right, so we've done, this is the top of the shoulder, so make sure you don't iron any wrinkles into that as you're going, but basically you're getting this little area right here. And I'm hoping that's picking that up on the camera. So just smooth it out as much as you can on that corner. You see now why the big end works better for me down here. Maybe if I were left-handed, the other end would work better. I don't know. So just iron over that lightly. And we have a freshly ironed shirt. I'm going to put this on the hanger, and I normally button the top 3 buttons down, and the reason being, the first button's going to keep it on the hanger. The second button, that's okay, but if I button 3 buttons down, it seems to make it hang better on the hanger, and it all stays together at the bottom. And if I accidentally bump into it with another piece of clothing in the closet, it doesn't tend to gape open and wrinkle in the front. So this is our freshly pressed shirt. I'm going to put this right here. I have a rod in there that I keep clothes hanging on till we can get them in the closet. All right, let's address this shirt right here. And what I'm going to do, I'll skip over the part of the collar and all that just for the sake of time, and I'll go directly to the back of it. So this is, the tag is on the inside here. This is the back of the shirt. Scoot our iron down a bit. And if you'll put this little part with these, they're not called darts. I don't think it's called a placket. I can't remember what it's called. Just this pleat thing in the center. Go to the bottom of the shirt and take the side seams and put those together like that. So this is the right side of the shirt, left side of the shirt. Put those seams together and find the center point of the shirt, of the tail of the shirt. This is the part that gets tucked in. Lay it right down here, holding on to that part. Hold on to that seam, or hold on to that fold where the center of it is. Now you're going to take this and put your thumbs together on that seam and tuck the sides in. Figure out about how wide that pleat is and fold it just like that. So you're duplicating this down here, and then you're going to take the top and pull it. And you see how that forms that pleat right there? If you just take it and lightly spray it, go over it with your iron. Of course, at this point, I normally have the collar and the sleeves and all the other stuff ironed. I'm just working my way around to the back. Just kind of wiggle your iron going up, make sure the fabric stays tucked in, and you don't iron any wrinkles into it. Kind of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You don't have to press down real hard, but just kind of wiggle your way up to the top. Go across that seam to make it flat. Back down the sides. And don't press over this again if it's not in the place it's supposed to be. Okay, let me hold up this so you can see the back of it. So this is what the back of the shirt looks like with the pleat ironed into it. Okay, how easy was that? So probably everybody, well, I shouldn't say that. Not everybody knows how to iron a pair of pants, but maybe we'll do a pair of pants at some point. I just wanted to get the shirt ironing out of the way. I kept saying I was going to try to do simple things as well as complicated ones too. Hadn't run across too many complicated things yet, but hope you learned something. Hope this helps somebody that's kind of one of those closet ironing haters or closet iron fearers that can't figure out how to iron a shirt and you keep having to send things to the cleaners. It's not necessary. Get yourself an iron. It doesn't have to be an expensive one. Get yourself an iron and ironing board and try this and see what you think. Hope this has helped. We look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.